Chapter 31. The Note. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8, verse 17. Back on the farm, James was in the barn, sleeves rolled up to his elbows, arms streaked with grease. The afternoon sun cut through the gaps in the tin walls, catching on floating dust, and the glint of spanners scattered across the bench. The smell of diesel clung to his skin, mixing with sweat and old hay. He muttered under his breath, leaning deeper into the tractor's engine, trying to loosen a rusted bolt that refused to give. Then, bang. The sound of the door slamming open echoed like a gunshot across the quiet yard. James froze, wrench in hand. He looked up as the sounds of heavy footsteps got closer, and then she appeared. Naomi didn't knock, didn't hesitate. She burst into the barn like the wind had chased her there, hair tangled, cheeks flushed, arms shaking as she stumbled to a stop.
James,
She gasped, her voice cracking wide open. The bolt in his hand slipped and clattered to the floor. His heart kicked into his throat. One look at her face, blanched, eyes too wide, and something in him lurched. He was already moving.
she's gone.
She cried. James blinked. The words didn't make sense.
Gone? What do you mean?
His chest seized.
What happened?
I was only gone for 20 or 30 minutes.
Naomi said in a rush, barely able to get the words out.
I came back and she wasn't there. The door was open, the bin was knocked over, Bear was barking like mad. I screamed her name. I ran around the whole place. I found her shoe, James, just one, out by the driveway.
She was breathless now, voice torn and trembling.
I called the police. I don't know where she is. I don't know where he took her.
James didn't wait to hear the rest. He turned and ran, boots slamming into the gravel, heart hammering so loud he couldn't hear Naomi's sobs anymore. Only the blood rushing in his ears and the roar building in his chest. He ran straight to the ute.
James,
Naomi shouted, chasing after him.
wait for me. I'm coming.
She wrenched open the passenger door and hurled herself in just as the ute jolted forward. No seatbelt, no plan, just raw panic and the shared knowledge of who had done this. Gravel shot out behind them as the wheels tore into the dirt road, fishtailing slightly on the bend. James's hands gripped the wheel. Naomi sat beside him, chest heaving, phone clenched in her lap. The only sound between them was the growl of the engine and the terrible silence of not knowing where Ruthie was. The farm disappeared in the rear view. Fence lines blurred. The wind scraped across the bonnet of James's ute as he veered around another blind bend. Loose gravel spat out beneath the tires, slamming into the undercarriage, a cruel percussion keeping time with the thud of his heart. Dust billowed behind them in a ghostly trail. Naomi sat rigid in the passenger seat, her fists clenched so tightly her knuckles looked bloodless. She stared straight ahead, eyes skimming the tree line, scanning for something, anything out of place. A glimpse of movement, a flash of white, a shadow that might be her friend. They had no leads, no destination, just James's gut and the kind of dread that scratches behind your ribs like a warning from God himself. It buzzed under James's skin, thick and inescapable. They'd prayed out loud at first, frantic, fragmented. Then quieter. Now just silent breath and unspoken pleas shared in the cramped space between hope and terror. 50 kilometers away, sunlight glanced off the windscreen of a marked patrol car cruising steadily along Highway 19. 2 officers inside. It was meant to be a dull shift, delivering court documents, names and charges that would blur by the end of the day. Constable Jess Peterson rolled her shoulders and tilted her head, trying to ease a stubborn kink in her neck.
Reckon there's anywhere half decent to stop?
She asked, glancing at her partner.
Could really use a break.
Her partner didn't even look up from the road.
There's a servo coming up. Bit rough, but it'll do.
Jess nodded, her head heavy from hours on the highway. She needed a break, to stretch, to shake the flat line of nothingness this day had become. The servo appeared like a memory someone forgot to bury. Sun-faded roof, buckled signage, a single pump that looked like it might crumble under a stiff breeze. Inside, the air was thick with stale oil and despair. The snack shelves were nearly bare, crushed bags of chips, limp jerky, a flickering pie warmer humming low in the corner. Jess grabbed a bottle of water and some chocolate. Her movements were slow, automatic. Then, just as she turned to leave, the sudden, undeniable pressure in her belly stopped her mid-step. An urge she hadn't noticed before surged through her like a jolt. It was more than just a bodily need. It felt placed, timed, like something or someone was nudging her off course. She decided to head to the bathroom, hoping it would relieve the pressure building inside her like a rising tide. She followed the cracked pavement around the side of the building to the bathroom. The door creaked open. The room was grimy, unkempt, but it wasn't the mess that caught her eye. A clipboard, hanging on the wall by a bent nail. It was just a cleaning roster, smudged, forgotten, pen long gone. But scrawled across the bottom, where someone shouldn't have been writing at all, were uneven, frantic letters. Kidnapped. White car. Dylan Watts. Please help. Call police. The date was today. For one drawn breath, Jess went still. Then training took over.
Control, this is 421. I have a potential victim-initiated message at the Willow Bend service station. Immediate response required. Confirm suspect as Dylan Watts. White sedan. Time unknown. We need full surveillance of Highway 19 and all exits. Over.
She snapped a photo, careful not to smudge the note, and headed back into the servo to question the clerk. Back in the ute, James's hands were bone white on the wheel, the ute thundering forward. Naomi hadn't spoken in minutes, her phone held tightly in her lap. Her thumb hovered, occasionally tapping the screen, as though willing it to ring. Then it did. A sharp trill split the silence. She jumped, fumbled, answered.
Hello?
Senior Constable Harmer speaking. Am I speaking with Naomi?
Yes.
She said, breath catching.
You're listed as an emergency contact on a missing persons report for Ruthie Matthews. We have reason to believe she may have left a message for police at the Willow Bend service station. One of our officers found a handwritten note in the women's bathroom. It names Dylan Watts as the abductor. Mentions a white sedan.
Naomi gasped, her hand flying to James's arm. His jaw clenched, already rigid. He didn't need to hear it. He already knew. But then with trembling fingers, Naomi pressed the speaker button. The voice on the other end filled the cab, making it real.
The note is signed Ruthie.
The constable said, voice steady but tense.
We're following up with a servo attendant now. He confirmed seeing a white car with tinted windows parked awkwardly at the rear of the property. Timestamp places it about 30 to 40 minutes before the note was found.
He paused, then continued.
We're calling to ask if you might know where they could be heading.
Naomi glanced at James, who was now listening to the call.
He'll take her back to the city.
James said, his voice firm.
It's the only place he knows.
That aligns with what we're seeing.
The officer replied.
Anywhere else he might go? Anything at all that could help us narrow the search?
James's mind whirred. God, help me remember. But the only clear picture was Ruthie, bound, hurting, terrified, and the rage boiled over again.
No,
He said at last.
but he won't stop unless you make him.
We've deployed multiple units and are setting up roadblocks on all nearby highways.
Harmer replied.
Please stay clear of the area. We'll keep you updated.
The call ended. Naomi sat frozen, then a sob ripped from her throat.
She's alive.
She said. James's foot slammed down on the accelerator. He had a direction now, and nothing, not traffic, not time, not fear, was going to stop him from reaching Ruthie.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of Healing on the Land. If this story has touched your heart, I'd love for you to come join me for the next chapter. You can find it here on this channel. If you'd like to support more Christian storytelling, you can purchase the full book or make a donation using the link in the description. Your support, no matter the size, helps us to continue writing stories of faith, healing, and hope. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. May God bless you, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.